Warning: the following contains explicit language and subject matter that may not be suitable for younger listeners, church folk, and people who enjoy kale smoothies.
It's everywhere you go. All right, I went to Subway to get a sandwich. Why is this a problem? It's a sandwich. Got behind the guy, it looked like it was his first time out ever. Just a look of bewilderment, confusion. Came up to the counter. How does this work? What do you do? What do you do here? It says step 1, pick bread. You don't see that? You don't see the step? What kind of bread do you have? There's a poster with loaves. You don't see the loaves? And thank God there was a glass partition between this guy's head and the condiments, man. He saw the vegetables, his head almost popped off his body. It actually came out of his torso. And it looked like one of those pigeons back there. I'll have one in there. And I'll have one in there. Picking out specific tomatoes. Not that one, the fourth one. The fourth one underneath that one. It's not a puppy.
Yeah, something's always going to come up. That's the bitch. But at least instead of having to, you get your tax returns every year, instead of using that to service the debt, you could actually use that money.
Keep it and do something with it.
Yeah.
Right? Yep.
Which will be a new experience for me.
I know.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to cut it in. Welcome back to A Pod Amongst Men. I'm your host, Steve B. This is episode 38, I believe. I don't know. I'm not keeping track anymore. But I'm here with my friend Matt S. Matt S. is a local dad, friend of mine. We're going to talk about something that I think a lot of listeners can identify with, the daily grind of being a husband and a dad and a homeowner and all the things that men today are dealing with. We are the guys you see every day of your life. You don't realize some of the struggles that we're all going through, the faces of quiet desperation you see in the bagel shop in the morning.
There's a lot of them.
Oh, there's a lot of us. Matt, why don't you say hello?
Hey, guys, how are you? Happy to be here.
Carl, good to see you. But so Matt, why don't you give us a quick little rundown? Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do?
All right, I'm 42 years old. I am a teacher. I've been teaching for about 20 years. I grew up, went to high school in Middlesex Borough.
Pull the mic a little closer to you.
I had a little cup of tea, living in Bridgewater for about 7 to 9 years, which is where we met. At Fridays years ago.
Shout out to Fridays.
Right, a lot of Fridays.
Second episode in a row, we're shouting out Fridays.
A lot of things, good things happened at Fridays over the years. And I lived up in Bergen County for about the past 7 years.
Where in Bergen County?
Maywood.
Okay.
It's about 5 minutes from the George Washington Bridge. By a big mall, by the Garden State Plaza, essentially the worst place to live in the history of the world.
Paramus is rough, man.
The whole area is rough. Traffic, blue laws. I mean, don't get me started. Those things are the dumbest things in the history of the world.
I spent a lot of time in Paramus. My union hall is there.
Okay.
So and the blue laws, I forgot about those.
Yeah, they're terrible.
We drove all the way up to IKEA there on a Sunday, and then we got there.
Drove all the way home.
It's closed. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm an asshole. I should remember.
I mean, it's terrible. You got things to do. You have 2 days on the weekend. You're off. Most people are off. A couple days on the weekend. I had a Lowe's right in my backyard, and on Sundays I'd have to drive to Patterson to go get the things that I needed there. It's just absolutely absurd, ridiculous.
Pain in the ass.
They need to get with it, but
Paramus.
But I'm not there anymore, so
yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So you're married man.
I'm a married man. 7 years.
Okay.
We've been together. Oh, wait a minute, time out. I lied. We've been together. We've been married 8 years.
Don't worry, I can go back and edit all this.
Yeah,
in
that's
post.
fine. No, that's okay. No, I've been married 8 years. I've been together about 10. 2 children, a almost 7-year-old and almost a 4-year-old. Both birthdays in October.
2 girls.
2 girls.
Important thing to clarify.
2 weddings.
Yeah.
Very expensive. A lot of estrogen in the house these days.
Yeah, Like
Yeah.
the Joe Rogan thing. It's like you're around nothing but women all the time.
All the time.
So it's making me more of like a bitch. You know what I mean?
You know what? It makes you appreciate the time sometimes I guess you have by yourself because it's like just you, like, and not girls all over the place. Very needy.
So one thing I think is that being a husband and a father, being in a house where there's a lot of other people, a lot of chaos, a lot of stuff going on at all times. Those are the kind of things that do make you appreciate the solitude, the privacy even. Like I remember as a single man, I lived on my own for like 9 years.
Right.
So there was just by myself. So now it's a huge change where now I'm in a house where there's 4 other people and a dog. You know, it is
a
a
change
lot.
going from yourself. I mean, I don't know. You know, I had that condo in Bridgewater where I lived, back in the Fridays days. I think I was probably there for 8 years, I think. And up until, the last couple months when my now wife had moved in with me, I mean, it was just me there, like didn't have to answer to nobody, didn't have to talk to anybody if I didn't want to.
Yep.
I wanted to just go home and chill. It's just me. I didn't have to worry about chaos or anything else. And then like slowly that starts to change. You get married. There's one other person in the house, and then you have one kid, then you have another kid, and it's a very different lifestyle.
It's a big change I noticed in that you have to worry about someone else seeing the things you're doing. You know what I mean? Like when you're alone, I could throw my clothes on the floor. Nobody's going to see it unless I invite someone over. Nobody shows up unannounced. It's not like there's somebody else going to walk through the hallway and see my dirty underwear laying out there. But now I have to be mindful of all those things.
You do. And then friends come over and company and neighbors and things like that. I'm one of those people kind of like, I really don't care. But like you do care. Like, when you say you don't care, I mean, you actually do.
Yeah, everybody cares a little bit.
A little bit.
Were you one of those people that just had like an open door policy with friends when you were single?
Yeah, I mean, they come by and hang out. I was tucked in the back of that the condo thing I was at. People would weave their way back there. But yeah, I liked having people over, but it was more or less like, hey, you want to come over, come over. You don't, like, I don't care. We'll go out and meet you, find you somewhere else, and we'll find something to do there.
Yeah, I have more people over now that I have a family.
Right.
Before, like I said, it was just me, and I never invited people over. In 9 years, I think I could I can count on one hand how often I had people over my place. Right. And I used to get shit for all the time.
Yeah, and I think it's funny, I think I enjoyed the solitude, being by myself, more in the beginning of moving out. I think towards the end, oddly enough, as you started getting a little older, more mature, I did like having people, there more often, especially on the weekends. Like it just turned out, I feel like every weekend, there was a couple people hanging out, sleeping over. We were up till, who knows when, after we leave the office or Fridays or wherever else we went for that night. And then it's 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. We're going to sleep. We're going to the bagel garden, getting some Chester and Geigo bagels sandwiches. And did you ever have those things?
Never even heard of it. I mean, I know Bagel Garden on 202.
Oh yeah, so they have 2 like really, really good sandwiches there. They're like the staple on like Saturday and or Sunday mornings. The Chester was my go-to. It was just like it was warm chicken, like sliced chicken with bacon, cheddar cheese, and some honey mustard. But then there was the Geigo bagel, which was like
Geigo bagel?
The Geigo bagel sandwich.
Okay.
It was like peppercorn turkey. Oh, this is going to be tough now. You should have asked Sass about this last week because this is his really go-to. It's like a peppercorn turkey, Havarti cheese, a Dijon mustard. I don't know if there's bacon on that one or not, and then there's some lettuce on there. But those were like the two sandwiches. Like,
do they come on a specific type of bagel?
A plain bagel.
Okay.
Plain. I mean, I'm assuming you can get any other kind of bagel if you want, but it's basically the standard. There's a plain bagel with that on there. They're delicious. They're really, really good.
I mean, I haven't been to Bagel Garden in a minute.
Yeah, I haven't been there in a while either. I mean, I've been here like a year now since I moved back to Somerville, and I think I've been there once.
I always go to Bagel Junction, or I don't know, it's called Coffee Grinder now on 28 by the Gold's Gym.
But it's in the
in Bridgewater.
It's a little like mini mall.
Yeah.
Okay. What's it called now?
It's got the Coffee Grinder Cafe. I think.
Okay.
It used to be the Bagel Junction back in the day.
But then there was something else because it's right like by Toscana, the pizza place.
Same place. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know how we got into that, but
bagels. I don't know. It's very important to find a good bagel. So.
Listen, yeah, I mean, this is the stuff that matters when you're a single man.
It does. When we moved here, because like my wife has lived in Bergen County all her life, she had one bagel place that she really liked up there. I wasn't a fan of it, so I tried different ones. Now we come down here, she still claims like I haven't been able to find a place that has a bagel that she enjoys. She'll eat whatever. She's into croissants from ShopRite these days in the morning. So
Okay. She should check out the place on Main Street, Conlon's.
Main Street, Somerville.
Yeah, the bakery. They have some pretty interesting.
Is that the place? Is like next to the seafood place?
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
I think it's the same owners.
I've seen it. Okay, they have bagels there.
They have funky bagels. It's not the same as
She
like.
ain't gonna eat those.
All right, but they're it's good. The food's good.
She's a terribly picky eater. Terribly picky.
That's honestly, my wife is not, and that's one of the things that made me fall in love with her.
Okay.
Because over the years I've dated girls like, oh, I don't eat that. No, that looks gross. I won't
Right.
do it. And it was always like a pain in the ass, like pulling teeth. I see people, this person's gluten free. This person doesn't eat dairy. My wife's like, oh yeah, I'll eat it. Whatever, I'll try it.
Yeah, and she's not like that, and I think that's like it's one of those things that's like my pet peeve is like I want to go try different places sometimes to get something different. She'd rather go to Fridays or Applebee's or like Burger King versus try someplace that she doesn't know what's gonna be on the menu. She won't do that.
There's a lot of people that are the same way. I actually think that's more common than like what we're saying we are. In terms of wanting to try all new stuff, most people are very set in the things they like. Like, listen, I know what I like. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
And I'm one of those people too. Like, I'm set with the things that I like, but like, I like the atmospheres and going to different restaurants and trying different places. Like, there's always gonna be something I can find on there, and I'll try and I'll eat it without too many alterations. Like, she'll see something. Okay, well, I want this Cobb salad with no egg, no bacon, no tomatoes. Definitely don't put capers in there, and then put the dressing on the side. It's like you ask for like lettuce with like a cucumber. Like you've taken everything off the salad.
that gives me anxiety. Like when you order something and you make it complicated.
Yeah, I start laughing when she does it. Like she does it at Houlihan's for some kind of salad. I don't know what kind of salad it is. And just sit there and just laugh. Like, I mean, come on, like give me a break.
My dad is famous for this. We go to a restaurant. We start. The waiter comes, starts taking the order. So we're sitting there. And my dad's been on the show. So anybody listening, you guys have heard my dad already. He won't even open the menu until the guy asks him what he wants. So he's going in blind. Like, he has no idea what he wants. And he makes everybody wait, including the waiter. There's a guy standing there with a half-filled notepad with the order. And he's like, oh, well, how's this? Is this any good? And he's reading, taking his time. And I get, like, anxiety sitting there. I'm like, oh, my God, bro, can you fucking pick something?
That actually makes me think. There's a story this one time. This is I was probably a jerk. I don't think I would do it now. I mean, I might do it now. But there was a bagel place in Middlesex Borough. I think it was called Bagel Supreme. So this place, when you walked in, all they had were bagels, okay? And they didn't have a grill. So you would, like, get in line, and you'd walk towards the register, and you'd pass all the bagels behind the glass that they had. Then you'd get there, you tell them what you want. If you wanted butter or cream cheese, they'd put that on there for you. But that was it. Like, they weren't making sandwiches. There's no grill, nothing. So I remember being in there one morning. I was probably like 19, 20-ish, somewhere in there. And I'm waiting, and the line's really long, and there's like two or three high school girls working there. They're doing their best, but like it's a high school job, they could really care less. So there's this guy like right in front of me, and he had to be in the line. We were in the line for 6-7 minutes just waiting, and he gets up there, and the girl says, "Can I help you?" And he's like, gee, let me see. What do you guys got? And like, I lost it. Like, I couldn't take it anymore. I go, oh my God. I go, what have you been doing for the last 5 minutes? They have bagels. They have plain. They have poppy. They have salted. They have butter and cream cheese. That's it. And he kind of like looked at me like, look at this asshole. And then the girl started laughing that was helping him. Then he looked at her, and then he was like, yelled at her, and then he stormed out of the place. But like, it's like, anywhere you go, like you're sitting there, you got a menu in front of you. You're looking at it. You have it 5-10 minutes there, like, and then you don't know what you want when you get up. Like, keep it moving, buddy.
Sebastian Maniscalco.
And I'm not trying to rag on your dad, but like that's just like
no. My dad doesn't do that in places like that.
Oh,
he only
okay.
does it at like
At
a
a
sit-down
restaurant?
restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Those places he knows the etiquette. Like, my dad's from Newark.
Okay.
So he knows what he knows how to do it there. He knows
Right.
like you got to keep the line moving. Don't be the asshole.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just, I don't know. It boggles my mind. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And there weren't cell phones then, so it's not like he's sitting on his phone, like scrolling through whatever.
The comedian Sebastian Maniscalco.
Okay.
He's got a bit about going to Subway and being behind somebody who like has no idea what the hell they're doing. And the lady's like walking up to the register, looking around. She's like, oh, what do I do? He's like, lady, there's a big sign. It says step 1, pick bread. You don't see that?
Yeah. It's funny, I listen, to each their own, I guess. But I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's like a Northeast, like a tri-state area thing. Like,
You don't want to wait, no patience for stuff like that.
like listen, let's get it moving. We want efficiency here.
You know, down south, I want to have a conversation for 5 minutes before you order something. You're just like, hey, come on.
I mean, it's like that most other places in the country. We're the weirdos here.
Yeah, I guess.
It's tough. It's tough, especially my wife thinks we're rude. Like, if she comes up here, it's like, relax. I'm like, I can't relax. This is how I was raised.
I know. Yeah, your anxiety and that stuff does kick in, and you just like, you just start speeding up and like there's one speed. And
you go to the grocery
fast.
store, you get stuck behind somebody like pushing the cart right through the middle.
I go at like 6 a.m. And I've been doing it for like 10 years now. and what I miss, the one thing I do miss from Bergen County is that the two ShopRites, which were like 3 minutes from my house, open 24 hours.
Oh, that's
so
nice.
like when I'm up at 5 a.m., I go out, get a cup of coffee, go do my grocery shopping. There's nobody there, nobody to talk to, nobody get in the way. I do my stuff. I get there, go home, and I'm done. You go at like 8 o'clock. Mm-hmm. There's 4,000 people there already. You can't find a parking spot at 8 o'clock in the morning. Everybody's bumping into your cart throughout the aisles. Their time's clearly more important than yours.
God forbid you go to the fancy pants Wegmans.
Yeah, no.
Listen, this is the shit. This is the shit that makes people go crazy.
I used to
day
like
in and day
Wegmans.
out.
I used to like Wegmans a lot.
I still like it, but
just
they don't
go
have
there enough.
They don't have all the stuff that I want.
Like what? Like what wouldn't Wegmans
Bro,
have?
if I want like a certain kind of soap, they only have like at one point they had like Irish Spring like soap, the shower gel. Like they have a couple different scents.
But they don't have Irish Spring.
But they don't have the one that I want.
So you're bougie.
I'm not bougie. I just know what I want. Like if I wanted to buy the Old Spice, one of the whatever flavor, like scent, flavor.
Whatever flavor you're
like
snacking on them these days, yeah.
Yeah. But they only have like 2 different selections. It's like, well, they make like 18 different things. Like,
right.
You could broaden it up a little bit.
They gotta save room for all the other stuff that they're not selling.
Well, it just so happens a ShopRite has what I like.
There you go.
So just go right down here.
Yep.
I don't like the Somerville one though.
Why?
They don't have what I like.
Oh, that's why. Okay.
The Bound Brook one has it.
See, I'm indifferent. Like my wife, didn't like the Somerville one, loved the Bound Brook one. Then she went to Somerville for one time, and she noticed that they have the self checkout. So that kind of I think pushed them in the favor. I don't have a preference. I don't really care.
I don't like the self checkout.
They're both okay to me. Oh, I love it.
I don't want to do it. I just feel like that's just adding to like
no, it goes so quick. It's easy.
Plus, automating everything.
You don't have to talk to anybody. Like you don't have to deal with another human being, which is like another one of those things as I've gotten older, like that I hate doing. Like one of the things I hate doing more than anything else in the world is ordering takeout on the phone, like from a pizzeria, from a Chinese place. Although lately the Chinese place is very efficient, but like you call, you place your order. There's a high school kid on the line usually that they're not texting, so they don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to have a conversation and communicate with somebody. So you place your whole order. They say, okay, thanks. And they want to hang up the phone. They don't read anything back to you. They don't tell you how much it is. They don't tell you how long it's going to take. Yeah. And you're just sitting there like waiting. And then sometimes they hang up real quick and I call back. Like, listen, can you give me some information?
Yeah, I'm not done here, buddy.
Right. Like, tell me, how long, how much? And then it's almost like they sigh. Like it's aggravating for them to have to punch some numbers in to give you a total. Attitude. I hate talking to them. That's why like the online ordering for those places, good. Mm-hmm.
Do you get set off easily by stuff?
Stupid things.
Yeah.
Stupid
But I
things.
mean, like, I know some people are like rage filled. Like, they go off. Like, I know things annoy the hell out of me, but I don't like explode.
No, I don't really explode. I think I'm very sarcastic, so I'm more apt to make a snide, snarky kind of under the breath remark that might make somebody think I'm trying to make them look stupid than to really explode.
See what I do? I'm just like, I just be super polite just to get it over with.
Yep.
And then I leave and to myself, I'm like, yeah, fucking asshole.
Yeah, no, I mean, I won't say that to him. I'm probably thinking it, but I'm like one of those people, like I kind of like to have the last word sometimes. And, I'll slip something in like that, or, I roll my eyes.
Yeah, I always avoid confrontation if I can. It's just like a natural reaction.
I just can't deal with it.
I know I get annoyed more nowadays than I ever used to. And nowadays I'm much quicker to speak up about something, but I'll always ask it in a way where it's like I think of like myself as Columbo. Like he used to watch Columbo, and he would ask questions as if he was stupid, but he was trying to let you set yourself up. Mm-hmm. So wait, so if I do this, then this is going to happen? And, oh, yeah. Like, oh, okay. No, I'm just confused because you said that this was this and this.
Right.
Like, that's usually as far as I'll take it.
Yeah,
But,
no, I mean, excuse me. I'll say something, but like I'm not going to explode. I'm not going to scream. I don't like to make a scene, like those kind of things. Like that's not me. I won't do that. But I'll make a comment back that makes them kind of think like I think they're stupid. That's something I probably need to work on. But I think that comes with getting older. Like like you're like a grumpy old man. Like
You lose your
say the
patience.
old people are so grumpy and miserable about things. Like I probably starting to turn into that, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, I think I noticed it too. I think it comes with being ground down over the years, just from all the stupid people that are out there.
I think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think there's always been a lot of them, and that's what you see in those grumpy old guys. Is they've been dealing with it for so long, and it's finally worn them down, and that's what's happening to us. We're getting worn down day after day.
It's taken every last ounce of patience that they have.
I'm noticing that kind of stuff. That makes me think. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I gotta stay on top of this because I don't want to be like one of these crotchety.
But you're gonna be. Everybody's gonna be. I think probably.
I would like to be like a cool old guy. Every so often you meet cool, like laid back old men. Every so often.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, listen, they're few and far between.
No, I think there's more than you think. I think
Yeah.
most of them just try to avoid us, like we try to avoid the people we don't like, and or the stupid people, so you don't really get to get that information from them.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, do you do this when you go to the grocery store? If you see somebody you know, do you purposely try to go the opposite direction?
Sometimes, like I have gotten really good over the years of just like getting away and getting out of a conversation when I deem it's time to go. To the point where my wife will be like, "Hey, you were really rude trying to go." I go, "No, I wasn't. Like how long does the conversation need to go for? Like we said what we needed to. It's kind of over. There doesn't have to keep being, oh well, but like no. Hey, we got something to do. Hey, it was great seeing you. Talk to you later and get moving."
Yeah. So you see, I'm walking away physically, like right now, and the guy is still talking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 100%. Like I'm gone.
All
Like
the
I'll
time.
say, like, "Hey, Steve. Hey, it's good seeing you, man. I gotta go take care." And I'll just turn around and walk away. I won't even wait for you to say bye. I'll kind of just be like, "Hey, man. All right, great seeing you. I'm out." And I would just leave. And like because you can't, because sometimes you just get trapped and you can't get out of conversations or get away from people. It's not that you want to be rude. It's just like
Some
time to
people,
move on.
Some people don't pick up on the social cue. Like it's over. Like let it go.
Correct. Yep.
That happens a lot.
A lot. Yeah, but the grocery store, no, you run into people here and there, but yeah, I don't remember ever like running away from somebody or turning away. Usually it's like, hey, and kind of get moving. Say, hey, I gotta get this done. I gotta get home for the kids. Because like the kids is like a built-in excuse.
Yeah, that's true.
For any situation at any given time. Hey, I gotta get home for my kids. My wife's got the kids. She got something to do. I gotta go. I only got a couple minutes here. Like built-in excuse. Like it's
Do you ever use that to getting out of like social plans?
100%. Yep.
See, for me, that's been the biggest challenge is like maintaining any kind of like outside social life.
Right.
And to an extent, like I miss my friends, but at the same time, like I have a family. Like I love my family. I want to be with them.
Right.
So like I miss my friends, but I don't want to be away from what I have here.
Right. And they have
So
families too, and like they're kind of like in the same boat. A lot of them, for the most part.
Well, that's the thing too. Is forever I was always by myself, so I could just go whenever. Whenever anybody called, like, yeah, I'm not doing nothing. Let's go.
Right.
So now it's like, no, I got shit to do, man.
Priorities have changed.
You only gave me 24 hours notice. I can't change plans now.
Yeah,
You know?
it's tough to do that stuff, last minute it is. And, that was one of the things, too, like when we lived up north, I really didn't have, I didn't have many friends up there. My wife was from up there. She had a couple friends. We barely hung out with them at all. I never felt comfortable up there just because, like, it's, anytime you move away from the things you're comfortable with, there's an adjustment period and stuff like that. But it just seemed to me, it never involved. Like, my neighbors were cool, like seeing them. But, like, I didn't have any friends. I had, like, one friend up there. I had Heath. You know Heath, right?
Of course.
Right,
We were talking about him last week.
Okay, so I had Heath up there. But again, Heath was working crazy hours, continues to work crazy hours. He's an electrician, too. Like, I'm sure you're always busy. And he has a family, and he was from up there originally, so he has a lot of friends and stuff, and his wife's family's from up there, and they were constantly busy. So, we would hang out when we could, but it wasn't as easy as when he lived in Somerville. I was in Bridgewater. We didn't have kids. We weren't married, things like that. It was much easier. And, one of the things I thought moving here, I said, okay, well, I still got a lot of friends in the area, Somerville, Bridgewater area, in Middlesex where I grew up. It'll be great. I'll hang out with them. We'll be able to hang out all the time. We'll find things to do. It hasn't been that huge, like, hang fest that I thought it was going to be. We still talk. We still text a lot. We try to get things together. But, everybody has different schedules, man. You have families. You have kids that are involved in sports and activities. There's, you have friends. You're going to parties, sometimes down the shore, wherever. It's just tough to find that time sometimes. And it's not that everybody does not want to. It's just time.
Yeah,
It's hard to find schedules that make sense to everybody.
There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
It's hard to make everything work out.
Yep.
Even if you really wanted to, it's like sometimes it's just not going to happen.
Right, and it's got to be done super far in advance sometimes,
Yeah.
so you can block it off because you wait an extra week, like 3 people might have something booked already.
And the other thing that sucks nowadays too is that you might be sitting around on a Sunday scrolling through Instagram or something, and you see, oh, so and so they went out. How come I didn't get a call?
Right.
And it makes you feel like, well, what you. It's like not FOMO, not the fear of missing out, but it's like you feel left out. Like you feel like it's, well, why they purposely didn't invite me?
Right.
And it's not that. It's just so happened, it's not going to work the same way as when you were 25 years old, where it's like everybody's part of the group. We call everybody. It's like, hey, you were available. We're doing this last minute. Like, we can actually make it work. Let's just go.
Right.
It's like, it's not a personal thing.
Yeah, and it might just boil down to, hey, me and you are hanging out tonight. Hey, tomorrow we got this going on. You want to do it?
Exactly.
Or wives are hanging out, and they're like, hey, there's this thing going on tomorrow. Yeah, we're going to get together. We're going to do this. And that's just how things work these days. Mm-hmm. And then the other thing, too, I think, too, which I didn't really, think about often in the past, is like as you have kids and they get older, their friends' parents become your friends, and you get together with different people and you meet different people that way. Our neighborhood that we used to live in, for as great as all the families were that lived there, and there were some really great people, we'd hang out a lot together. Mm-hmm. Now I'm here in my neighborhood. There's the people, we're always together, we're always hanging out, and your neighbors become your friends, and that's what makes a community, a neighborhood, things
Definitely.
like that fun. Which like I know I have now. That to the same extent I have it now, I didn't have in the past, and I think that's very, very important.
Well, I think that's great too, especially in the area that we live. Like we live in it's a walking school district. Everything is close by, so you live in it's a relatively tight community.
Right.
I think tighter than most. I mean, I think if you go to a lot of other places around the state, you're not going to see neighbors having a block party.
No.
That doesn't happen that much anymore.
Right, and it's tough to do, Like I was involved with the planning and pulling it together this year. There's another neighbor who had started it and done it for the past 7 or 8 years. It's not easy. You pass things out. You hope everybody comes. You have a good time. And like I said, I know you obviously seen the pictures, that I had put up. We had a great block party this weekend.
Yeah,
it was fun. Everybody had fun. There was a decent amount of people there, but it's just it's one of those things that makes a neighborhood and growing up in a community and stuff fun when you can do things like that.
Yeah.
We feel very fortunate that that's the situation we were in.
Well, I think that's one of the big things that our kids today are missing out on is that sense of community. Like we actually know your neighbors. I know Jim lives there. I know Lou and Mary live in that house. Mm-hmm. They'll see me. They'll know, Steve's out with his friends or whatever. Oh, he's not supposed to be there. Like, let me call his parents. You know what I mean? Everybody looked out for one another. Everybody kind of knew what was going on to an extent. Like, we don't have that. Like, there's so many people just, this guy lived next door to me for, 10 years. I have no idea what his name is or who he is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and I feel like now, too, like, I have that where we're at. Like, when I grew up, I knew there were kids all over my street and around the corner. And we go outside and we play. And like now we have that again. Like kids are outside, they play. They're knocking on each other's doors. Like I can see them from my living room, so I don't have to be sitting on top of them outside. Mm-hmm. And I think that's important having that. My wife had that growing up. I had that growing up. In our old neighborhood, there were kids around that were outside, but nowhere near as much as like the time my kids spend outside now.
Yeah. I remember being a kid. We're never inside. And if I was inside, it was
until Nintendo came out because
we would just go to each other's houses and play Nintendo.
Right,
so
exactly.
You would still have to go outside.
Your parents would think you're outside playing, but you're at somebody's house whose parents weren't home on that 8-bit system playing Super Mario Brothers.
We were playing N64, playing WCW versus NWO.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to put my phone on silent. Anyway, for me that's a big thing that I want to give to my son. I want to get him in a situation where he can just go play outside. We don't have to sit there and watch him like a hawk. You know what I mean?
It's a game changer.
Yeah, well, that's a cultural thing that's definitely happened. I think to all of us is that with the advent of social media, you see all the news from all over the place, whereas before you only see what's really going around in your immediate area.
Right, the same stuff was kind of going on, but you just didn't know about it.
Exactly. Now,
as much.
Every time a kid gets abducted anywhere, like you see it. So it seems like it's happening more and more, even though if you actually read the stats.
But does that happen a lot? Like because I know, like growing up, like there was a couple things like growing up that like I was terrified of as I was getting older. Like I read that this. I read this somewhere online. There was like a joke online. It was like they thought quicksand was going to be like a bigger deal as they got older.
I think it was a John Mulaney thing.
Yeah. So like I saw that the other day. So that's not coming from me. But like I mean things like you go outside, tell kids abducted. Like I've never once seen a big white van with like free candy or somebody trying to lure a kid in or me in. Like I'm not saying it doesn't happen, and I'm not trying to make a joke about like that because I'm sure it does. But like things like that, like. For me, it was like fiction for me. Like I didn't think it was reality, and now it kind of is, even though it comes in like different ways.
Mm-hmm. So I read this book. It's called The Coddling of the American Mind, and it's basically about how the younger generations were setting them up to fail. And one of the chapters is about exactly that, how with the way social media and the news is set up, a 24-hour news cycle, you see everything that's happening. And when you watch the actual crime statistics, crime has dropped substantially since the time we were kids. But because we see it more often, like the numbers are actually less, but we're seeing more of it.
Right.
It makes us feel like the world is a less safe place, even though the numbers would disagree with that.
Right.
So it turns us all into helicopter parents.
Yeah.
Like we're all watching kids like
going on.
Everything's crazy. The people out here are fucking freaks and perverts. We can't let our kids out of our sight.
Nope.
And that the problem is we kind of cripple them socially
Right.
in that sense, where we don't let them develop on their own and learn independence. And that's one of the things I've been trying to be mindful of, especially now that I'm a stepdad.
Yep.
I mean, his father lives far away, so while he's not here, I have to step up.
Right.
Otherwise, this kid, what is he going to not have a dad? Like would never let that happen.
Right.
I love him. He's a great kid. I treat him as if he's my blood.
Right.
That's what he deserves.
Yep.
So I take it seriously, and that's something I was really trying to understand and learn about, because like we just said, like I came from being alone. Like all of a sudden now I'm thrust into this role. Like I don't want to fuck it up.
Right. Yeah, it's not easy, man.
Yeah, plenty of people have stepdads they hate.
Most of us, nobody knows none of us know what the hell we're doing. You just kind of like wing it, and
I think it's everybody in every aspect of life.
Right.
We're all just trying to make it through until someone figures out that we're full of shit.
Yeah, and like things go wrong with the kids sometimes. Like they're not feeling well. There's something there. Like I'm thinking, okay. I look at my wife. I'm like, well, you're their mom. What do we do? She goes, well, I don't know. Why are you asking me?
I was going to ask you.
She goes, you're the parent too. Like, yeah, but you're kind of like the mom. Like you don't have an answer for this one because I don't really know what's going on. So
it's scary, man.
Yeah.
Because you're out there with no training wheels.
None at all.
And there's two little lives, on the line here.
No, like the most confused I ever was in my life was after my first daughter was born. We came home from the hospital. They left. They said, babies, they like to sleep a lot. She's probably going to sleep like 20 hours a day or something like that. I'm like, all right, cool, man. That's awesome. Like, I just got to fill 4 hours and I can kind of have the same life that I used to have, which, no. But, we walk in the house and kind of walk in and baby's in like this carrier and you put the carrier on the floor and just like, all right, so like, what do we do now? Like,
does this thing come with a manual?
Like, right. Like, I just remember sitting there just like, all right, well, what happens now? And then, I don't know what the hell we did.
Take care of it,
We took the baby out of we took her out of the carrier. No, I don't know. Held her, but I don't even know what the hell we did. It was very confusing. Like, well, what do we do now?
Yeah, man, that's when you really realize, like, all right, I'm in this. Like, there's no more, like, all right, when we eventually get settled, when we do this, like, no, this shit has started. This is life now. Like,
sure was.
We're doing it.
Sure was.
Me and my wife, we decided we were going to have an invisible baby and name him 12 hours sleep a night.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
I wish.
Sleep changes a little bit, too.
That changes a lot, especially getting them used to sleeping in their own bed, like we were talking about earlier. It's a challenge, man. What do you say? I'm going to pause it real quick.
Okay.
You want to go refill?
Yeah, I'll grab another beer. She's weird with that. I feel like she sold me a false bill of goods when we were dating as to what the rest of our lives would be like. Because we used to go to Fridays all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, we started going there. She was doing 4, 5, 6 vodka cranberries a night. She was great. And then it's like we got engaged, got married. And now, if she drinks, has one drink over the course of 3 weeks, it's like, whoa, set off like alarms.
So let's talk about the married part, because that's a big thing. Especially, a lot of people nowadays want to get married and they say, oh, what do you think? Is there anything I should know? And I was thinking, what is something I wish someone would have told me about marriage beforehand that I wish I knew going into it? And See, it's a tough one because some things I'm glad I didn't know because like you have to learn them.
Right.
And it's when you have to go through the shitty part to really learn the lesson, it really sticks in there better. And I don't know if I would have listened if somebody had told me. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? Like, I think, one of those things you say is like, oh, everything's going to be even. We're going to share things and everything will be split down the middle. And, that was like...
I heard that one too.
Yeah, and like they say that, and it sounds well and good. I mean, you talk to people, it's like, oh, this is what it's going to be like. And I say this all the time to my wife, and she hates when I bring it up. She hates when I say it. I'm still going to say it because it's true. Like, I remember we got married, right? So we bought our house, we moved into the house, and we had like this deal when we moved in where she was like, in terms of upkeep of the house and doing things and everything, she said, I'll do all the inside stuff and you make sure, you take care of the outside stuff, take the garbage out, things like that. And I was like, that's fine. Like, that's,
sounds great.
That's a fair deal. And I don't mind doing dishes sometimes and other stuff. But like the inside stuff also included, according to her, was like doing laundry and stuff like that. I'm like, awesome. That's fine. Like, I didn't hate doing laundry, but like she would do that. I do the other thing. She did my laundry like 2 times after we got married. And then it was just like, I need clothes. She goes, well, do your own laundry. So like it started like real quick. I was like, well, you said you're going to do the inside stuff. Well, you can do your own laundry because I'm not doing it now. So like it changed real quick. So now like, I'm maintaining, doing the outside stuff, the lawn, the cleaning, a lot of that stuff. And then slowly I'm taking on more of those inside things that, she was going to do. Vacuuming, dusting, clean. I shouldn't say dusting. I don't really dust, but clean, dishes, things like that. And I don't mind helping out at all. But like, don't say like it's going to be like even. I'm going to do this, you're going to do that, and then like it changed like really quick. It's like, okay, well, you're married. I guess those things we talked about beforehand don't really matter anymore.
Well, it's like whatever the plans are. Once you actually set them into reality, they have to shake out a little bit and kind of like fall into place. And it's never going to work out exactly the way you anticipate it.
Yep. Yeah.
For us, it was always like I like to cook, but I hate to clean. My wife doesn't like cooking, but she has no problem cleaning.
Like the dishes you're saying. Like
exactly, yeah. But even the house, like I suck at cleaning.
Right.
Like my version of clean is still filthy to someone else.
Yeah, we have a chef in our house.
Really?
Yeah. And a cleaner.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
I do all of it.
I was like, all right, you're setting me up for something here.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for it.
It's called Matt.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was our agreement. Like I'll cook the meals, you clean up. So perfect, no problem. But now her parents live with us.
Yep.
So her mom doesn't work. She's that became her thing. Like she'll cook the meals and stuff. So things work out a little differently. But then my wife still ends up doing a lot of the cleaning.
Right.
But basically, I've gotten out of one of my things that I'm sitting on the couch like, well, I was gonna cook, but your mom's already doing it. Yeah. So and
see, I
feel bad.
I like cooking.
What's that?
I like doing the cooking too. Like and I do most of it. My wife doesn't cook much or can't cook much. It's just one of those things she never did. She can make a couple of things. I can make more things. And I don't mind cleaning. Like, see, I'm one of those people too. Is like I don't want things sitting in the sink or in the drying rack. Like when I'm cooking, if I'm done with a pot, like I'll try to wash a couple things while I'm still cooking, so there's like less for me to do later.
That's something I had to learn over time. Because I was never like that. I always just left shit in the sink. Right. And now it's like, no, I want it out of the way because I might need to get in there.
Right. Like it infuriates me. Like I'll clean, like I'll do all the cooking, I'll do the cleaning. The cooking, just do the cleaning, clean the sink out, get everything done. I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to bed now. All the stuff's cleaned. I dried it with a towel. It's in the cabinets. And then I wake up in the morning and there's like stuff in the sink. Like where'd this come from? I'm like, why couldn't somebody else clean it?
I was the last one to go upstairs and it was empty.
And it's literally like the least like of a big deal. It's just I don't want to see it. Like I like things clean. I want everything put away.
We started buying paper plates for that reason.
We've been using paper plates for years now.
Yeah, it helps.
But like the kids snack all day. Like there's 14 bowls in the freaking sink. Well, why don't we use the same bowl? But like I'm as guilty as she is of it. Just new bowl, new snack, new bowl, new snack.
Yep.
Hey, look at all the stuff we have here.
It's it's not a delicate balance, but it's something you have to be patient with, and I find you have to be flexible.
Right.
And because otherwise you're just going to be butting heads constantly.
Yep.
And that was something that I had to learn. But I don't think that's something I wish someone would have told me. I think I could have figured that out for myself
at some point in time.
I got eventually.
I get real good. I got real good after I got married with like selective hearing, like on a lot of things. especially when you have like a newborn baby that needs to eat. Like, I remember, like, I would lay in bed and I would hear my daughter wake up. I'd hear her start crying, fussing. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, I got to pee so bad right now. But, like, I refuse to move or budge because I know the second I get up, now I'm going to have to feed her and deal with it. So, like, you literally sit there holding pee as, like, it's so painful, waiting for her to get up to get the kid. So as soon as she did that, then I go run to the bathroom quick. Say, oh, you got this? Okay, good. I'm going back to bed.
Not realizing she was probably doing the same
she's
thing.
Punching me, hitting me. She's like, you don't move. Like, I'm like, yeah, I must have been sleeping really good that night.
Yeah, I was asleep. I don't know what happened. See, I skipped all that.
Uh-huh.
Because I got my stepson when he was 6 years old.
Right, yeah.
6 years old, really. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I want to start over and have one of my own.
No.
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
You never know.
Yeah, listen, I never know, but I'm not trying.
Yeah.
You know, he's good. I'd rather focus all my energy on one.
Right.
Try to do the best I can.
It's a whole different energy you'd be focusing, man.
Yeah. For me, one of the things that I struggled to deal with was the change of not having like privacy. For instance, if I wanted to watch a scary movie on TV.
Yep.
I can't really do that now because now there's 3 other people in this house that don't like scary movies.
Right.
Well, 2.5 really. My wife is on the fence.
Yep.
My mother-in-law and my son, they can't do it.
Okay.
So now it's like, well, what the hell am I going to do? So now, I'll be watching TV and my son says, hey, Dad, can I change it? You know, I'm watching something. He's like, oh, please, please, please. Fine. Where's your Nintendo? I'll play that while you're doing that. It's like, oh, I wanted to. Okay, forget it. Never mind. I'll go upstairs. My wife's watching TV.
Right, it's brutal fighting for that, right?
Yeah, and that's a big adjustment that I had to make.
Yep.
And I still struggle with it sometimes.
Yeah, and that is a struggle too because, like at our house now, the bedrooms and the living room are on the same floor. Mm-hmm. So like if I watch something on TV and the kid wants to watch, they don't want to watch sports, they want to watch Mickey Mouse or whatever. Mm-hmm. All right, fine. I put it on for them. I can walk down the hall, go in my bed, lay there and watch TV, watch something I want to watch. And I'm on the same floor, I could be around. My old house, like that wasn't, like you kind of just had to suck it up, like because the bedrooms were upstairs. You're not going to leave a 2-year-old downstairs by herself. You don't know what she's going to get into.
Of course.
So when they want to watch something, it's like, okay, I've just lost the TV, so now I'm going to sit there and watch Mickey Mouse or Peppa Pig, and then, you can't watch what you want to, so you get kind of aggravated. But, you deal with it, and then, the kids go off and play something, and then a half hour later you realize you've been watching Peppa Pig by yourself for the last 30 minutes when you could have been watching the other thing that you want to. And then you know damn well that the second you go and put your show on or whatever you're watching on, kid comes back. What happened to Mickey Mouse? What happened to
Every time.
Dora the Explorer?
Without fail.
It's gone now. Like, I was watching that. Well, no, you weren't. Well, I want to watch it now. Put it back on. So it's a lose-lose. You don't win.
I caught myself tonight. We finished eating dinner. My son that's like a cartoon on Netflix, and he's trying to talk to me while his movie is on. Now I'm more invested in his movie than he is, so he's trying to talk to me. I'm like, shh, quiet. I'm like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah.
Like I don't care about this. I don't care about Balto.
And you pay, but you do though, and you pay attention to it, and you remember everything about it because people at work used to quiz me on Peppa Pig because my kids watched so much of it for years. They still do, but they would say like, "Hey, this episode where they go to the supermarket and like, what is?" I said, Daddy Pig tries to sneak a cake onto the into the line into the shopping cart. They're like, so you know everything. I go, I know because like it's the only thing I watch like all day long.
Bro, I got so lucky like having a boy, a son, because he's into the same shit that I liked when I was a kid.
Right.
So I liked Pokemon when I was young. I liked the superheroes and like the X-Men and Spider-Man and stuff.
Yep.
Now all that stuff is still popular, so it's great because he'll ask me questions like, oh, well, I know all about that. Let's sit down and talk about it.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like, 'cause a lot of that stuff comes back and like it gives you opportunity, to talk to kids or, bond with them and go through that because that stuff that was cool when we were there, like it's starting to become cool again.
Do you find it different though having daughters?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Do they make you like when do you actually make time to play with them and really like be like almost like be a kid with them? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
like,
you
just
have
be goofy,
to. And
funny and silly.
I mean, because I do that all day long, all the time anyway. That's kind of just
teacher.
like right. That's kind of and like I mock and make fun of and fool around and bust balls with middle school kids all day long. So like that carries over obviously to my kids, but like I can play with them, and both of my kids are like so different. Like the older one, who's going to be 7, like she could play by herself or watch a TV show for hours, and you'd be there, and she'd play with you, and you just let it go however you wanted to. The little one, her attention span's like a goldfish. She'll ask to put a movie or a show on. She'll watch it for 2 minutes, then she'll do something else. Then she'll be doing something else. If like you want to play, like lately she's wanted to play with like these princess things. So like you don't get to really play with her. Like you hold the thing, and she tells you what it has to say and where it has to go. So when you think of it like that, dude, I don't know, man. It's just weird. Like
that was a
that's
challenge.
what she wants to do. It's a huge. It is a huge challenge because like there's things you want to do too. Like I don't mind playing for a little bit, but like I also think kids need to play by themselves and get creative on themselves.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just like a lazy thing. Like, because I'm tired, I really don't want to do it, but I do want to be there for my kid. But I want her to play by herself so I can have 10 minutes to myself or 15 minutes to myself to look at my phone, watch TV, just sit there.
That's the inner struggle I have like almost every day. Is I want to be there. I want to play with my son. I want him to be used to having me there.
Right.
And I want to be part of his life. But at the same time, I worked all day. I'm
Right.
fucking tired.
I'm tired. Yep.
Like, some days I just don't have it.
Yep.
And I'm like, if I say like, just give me some time. Let me relax for a bit. I feel guilty even because like he just wants to play. He's actually excited to see me.
Right.
And I'm here like just trying to lay down and watch some stupid show.
Yeah, my bigger struggles come really from like the iPads. Like, because the kids like the iPads, and some days they're not interested in them that much. Other days they are. But like when I'm tired, say, well, why don't you go play with your iPad? Well, they want to play with me. They want to jump on me. They want to piggyback ride, or they want me to like crawl around on all fours so they can ride me like a horse. Like, you want to do all that stuff, but like they want to keep doing it.
Yeah, they don't get
and then
tired.
you have to try to think about what you were like when you were their age, or when you were a kid. Like you probably want to do the same thing. So at the same time, like I don't want to take that away from them, but at the same time, I'm trying to push them sometimes for something I don't want them to use very often, like an iPad, things like that, so I can have time. So it is a constant struggle, and it's exhausting. I mean, life's exhausting.
It's so different now, like with our kids. I mean, did both your parents work when you were young?
Yes, my father worked full time. My mom, I mean, I guess she worked full time too, but like she worked at a pharmacy. She was more flexible. Like she'd be there in the morning when we left for school. She'd go to work, and then she'd pick us up or be home right at the end of the day. So I mean, I don't know if she really worked a full day or not, but she was there. But they both worked.
Yeah, mine too. Like they both worked full-time jobs, and I'm thinking back. I'm like, I don't really remember them like playing with me, like the way me and my wife play with my son now. Like I don't remember that, and I don't know if maybe I've just forgotten about it and they really did. Or
did you ever see like pictures of like your old toys and stuff like that? Like, I mean, I don't know how much playing there could really be. When you look at some of that stuff, because there's just so much more now. You had different things, but like you didn't have like these big houses and car ramps and stuff that like a lot of people could play. I mean, there was some
we had that
stuff there.
Yeah, the Hot Wheels tracks and shit.
Yeah, I guess you did. I don't know, man. I'm looking at pictures and I'm thinking, like you're saying, like I don't remember my parents playing with me much.
Yeah,
growing up.
I have no.
Maybe my mom did. Like my dad, he was into sports. So was I. Like he having a catch with a baseball. He sucked at basketball, but I liked it, so he'd still try to do that. But I don't remember my dad. I probably did. I just don't remember it. Laying on the floor playing with cars and stuff. Well, I don't remember my mom doing that either.
Yeah, I always remember playing by myself because I have my sister, my full sister, who lived with me, and then I have a bunch of half sisters and a stepsister, and they all lived with their parents.
Yep.
And I always remember playing alone.
Yeah, I mean, I had a sister. Maybe we did stuff together. I don't remember, man. I just don't like.
But do you think they always say like that? Those are the things that your kids are gonna remember. The time you spent just being silly, goofing around with them.
100%.
Like that's the thing that they're really gonna remember, not the things you bought for them or whatever the vacation you took them on. They're gonna remember the time you spent with them in their world. You know what I mean?
With that. Yeah, 100%.
And that's the thing. And I don't have really a lot of memories of that from my parents. So I feel like I want to be there and make those memories with my son that I didn't have.
Right.
But
maybe you did have them, you just don't remember. Like
yeah.
I know there were plenty of good times growing up. I just, there's just nothing that really sticks in your head. It was just kind of, hey, it was there. Like my childhood didn't suck.
Yeah.
And this is where I am now.
Yeah, I don't think my childhood sucked. I just think that it was a lot easier as a kid then. You just go outside and play by yourself. Your parents didn't have to worry about it.
It's just much different, you know?
Yeah.
Like, we didn't have the cell phones, the internet. Like, I remember in middle school, the internet was kind of just starting. By the time I got to high school, like, AOL was starting with the dial-up stuff, and you play with that a little bit while you're tying up your parents' phone line in the house because you had to, dial out to it. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Like, it's weird. Like, I never thought of it like that when you said that, like, playing stuff. I remember board games, cards. Me and my dad liked to play War. I like playing War and Uno. But it just seems like they're, I don't know.
I used to love, my dad is a really good storyteller.
Yep.
Like, he's like the quintessential North Jersey Italian guy. You know what I mean? And he's just a phenomenal storyteller. So I used to love whenever he would tell stories from when he was like a teenager growing up in Newark. And we'd be sitting at the dinner table, like halfway done dinner, and you just tell, it reminds me of this guy, Joey Bag of Sausage or whatever the fuck his name is. It just, but there was always a story. Like, that's what I love. And I feel like I don't have those stories. Like, I'm trying to find the thing that my son is going to like doing with me.
Right.
And I feel like I haven't found it yet. But we play with fun. Like, we wrestle and we do all the, boy stuff.
But I also think maybe with her parents and stuff more, it's almost like that generation, they weren't as spread out as I think people maybe are now. Like, when you talk about a tight-knit community and tight-knit people around and families around, like, a lot of people's families have, they've moved away from their cousins and their aunts and their uncles.
That's true.
My parents grew up in the Bronx, and, their whole families were right there, a couple blocks away, a town like a little bit over, there, and they would see them every weekend, and they were always around. So when they all get together, and a lot of them have passed on now, but I remember growing up when they get together, there was always all these stories from when they were kids and this and that I don't have those stories with my cousins and stuff because everybody started to move,
everybody's far.
I don't have great relationships with my cousins. We see each other at family functions, once in a while, but it's not the same kind of closeness or family, I think, as it was with my parents and their, and their siblings and their cousins and stuff like that. It's just, to me, it's totally different.
No, you're 100% right because, like you said, it used to be like you grew up in, in Queens. When you move out, you still live in Queens.
Right.
And then you get married and you still live in Queens. Your sister moves out. She lives in Queens with her husband and her kids.
Yep.
Like, everybody's still around. And like you hit the nail on the head. Everybody moves away.
Yep.
So everybody's just kind of randomized all over
our
the place.
family tries to do parties and stuff, and my mom's like, "Oh, it'd be nice if you go to this." I said, "Mom, to be honest with you, like, it's nothing against my cousins and stuff like that. I just don't have the relationship with them that you guys had with your cousins and stuff like that growing up. It's just different.
Yeah.
Like, even growing up, I'd see, some of my cousins, maybe twice a year.
If that.
It's just right. It's just not the same kind of relationship, and it's not that I don't want to see them. It's just that, like, it's just tough to do, and sometimes it doesn't fit it sounds weird or wrong, but like, it just doesn't fit my schedule.
Yeah.
It's not a priority to me, even though they're my family and I care about them and always be there for them. It's just different.
Well, for something I've talked about before on the show is in terms of family. Like, we make a big deal about, oh, we're related. It's my cousin, or that's, so and so. Like, for me, and maybe this is something to do with me as a person or my experience in life, and certainly not a knock on my family. Like, I don't want to make it sound like that, like they did something wrong. But I don't feel that closeness, like, with my family.
Right.
And in my eyes, just because someone is a family member doesn't give them priority in my life.
Right.
People have to earn it the same way a stranger would. Like, just because you're my cousin, like, I'll try to help you out, like, we're related, but like, you don't get a pass on stuff. Like, a lot of people, they have family members that are always like dicking them over, like, just shitty people. It's like, well, it's family, do what you can. Like, no, I don't buy into that. Like I said, this is not a knock on my own. I mean, I have certain family members that maybe this applies to.
Isn't everybody?
Yeah. But for the most part, like, that's something that I think that people make a big deal of. And like you said, we weren't raised in a generation where the family was close, where we grew up super close to them. I mean, obviously there are some people who have that, but I think that's the minority in our generation.
Right. I would agree 100%.
Yeah. And that definitely changes the dynamic of how we're raised. And our parents still look at it like that. Well, it's your cousin, you got to come out. It's Christmas.
Yep.
I said, well, I barely know my cousin. We've never hung out outside of, the Christmas
the people
Eve
that
dinner.
want to see you are like the older people. So, there's everybody's kids and stuff. And
It's weird, man. Because I have a big family on my stepdad's side. Like, it's a huge family. But, I'm not close with any of them, really. I have one cousin that we've actually hung out. Like, we've been on vacations together.
Right.
But even him, he's moved away. Like, I don't see him that much anymore. So we're not super close.
Yep.
And I have a ton of cousins that I only see once or twice a year, if that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't even know these people. Like, I know the faces. We've been around. Hey, how you doing? Great to see you. But that's it.
Yeah,
It's like, fuck, like, what are we doing here?
You bump into them, you see them here or there. It's cool, and like everybody says, "Oh, we got to do this more often. It'd be great to hang out and do this." And in reality, like, it would be, but at the same time, the second that moments passed, it's like, okay, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
It's a weird thing to look at, like, a family member and realize, I don't know you as a person. You know, like a distant, even somebody you look at them like they're a distant relative. It's like, no, that's my first cousin.
Right, and now, like, I think a lot of people do, they're catching up and stuff on the social media and things like that, because if there wasn't Facebook or MySpace before that and Instagram and things like that, how are you going to connect or see these cousins unless you go to, a party or a get-together or gathering of some sort? They're just not there.
I think that's something that, as with friends, that sets us up and puts us, we walk into a trap where we think because we've seen our friends, like, on social media, like, oh, they went out, pumpkin picking this weekend.
Yep.
We like the picture, leave a comment. I think in our minds, subconsciously, we look at that as if it's still real interaction. It's like, oh, it's Steve. Like, I see Steve all the time. We realize, I haven't seen you in 2 months.
Yeah.
Like, you've liked all my pictures on, Facebook or something.
Yep.
But we haven't actually interacted outside of that. And it makes you, it's like that false sense of closeness.
Yeah, how about this? This is a funny story. You just said that, right? So, this kid, Joe, that I was friends with, grew up in the town next to me. He married a girl that I went to high school with. They live in Branchburg, and they have a daughter that's my older daughter's age, about 7, somewhere in there. So my wife went to, like, a summer camp kind of talent show thing in Branchburg towards the end of the summer. Our neighbor was in it. She goes to camp there. She's a year older. And she's sitting there with this girl's mom and my daughter. And my friend Joe, who she's never met in her entire life, has no idea who the guy even is, taps her on the back, says, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" He goes, "Is Matt coming?" He goes, and she's like, "No." And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "You probably don't know me." Goes, "I know you from Instagram, from Matt's Instagram." He goes, "I'm Joe. We grew up together, blah, blah, blah." They started talking, but, like, she came home and she goes, "Oh, I met your friend Joe." I go, "Oh, who? Joe? Oh, Joe White." She goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Yeah, he tapped me on the back and he asked if you were coming." And he was just straight up like, "Yeah, you probably don't know who I am. I only know you from, like, Instagram." And, that's, I think that's true in a lot of...
That's the reality we live in.
And a lot of things, I remember even Bergen County, living up there at one of the malls, a girl I was friends with years ago from New York texted me and was like, "I'm pretty sure I just saw your wife and your daughters at the mall." I didn't say anything because we don't know each other. But I go, "Yeah, it was probably them. They were there."
Yeah.
And that's how they see people.
That's a weird thing, because I remember about, let's say, 13, 14 years ago, like, Facebook was really kind of at its peak at the time. I remember going out. My buddy was moving away to Australia. This might be the same night. Either way, my friend Max, he's a world traveler.
Okay.
So they were having a party for him, and we went out. We were in the city at this place, and there was a girl that showed up. I was single at the time, and I'm like, "Oh, I know that girl from his Instagram, or from his Facebook."
Right.
And I'm like, "Oh, you're Sarah." And she's like, "Yeah, how do you know that?" I'm like, "Oh, no, I saw you on Max's Facebook." And it was like, my friends heard me. They're like, "Bro, why would you fucking say that?" Like, that was super creepy. I was like, what did I do? Like, I see his Facebook. Like, I wasn't stalking anyone. It was just a face I recognized. I'm good with names. Like, but that was, like, a big deal. Like, well, why would you do that, bro?
Yeah.
Like, you just ruined the whole night now.
I know. It's
but
funny,
nowadays, it's much more commonplace. People are kind of more open about it. Like, now I'll be out with my wife and I'll say, "Oh, that's so-and-so." She said, "How do you know them?" I'm like, "I've seen them on, Instagram, like so-and-so's husband."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Are you friends with him?" I'm like, "No, not really at all, actually. It's just an acquaintance."
It happened to me going to, like, Disney World. It was one of my friend's sister's friend. I think we met once or twice years ago. We're friends on Facebook, Instagram. Comment, you like pictures and stuff like that over the time, and we're at Disney World, and I probably haven't seen this girl in 7 years ish, and we met like once or twice, and, like, her and her husband and her kid are standing in the line waiting for the buses from the airport to take us to the hotels, I'm looking at her. I was like, said to my wife, I said, I know who this girl is. I said, I definitely know her. She goes, why don't you, she's like, okay. I go, she goes, why don't you say anything? I go, because like it might not be her. I'm not really sure. So then like I'm on her Facebook and like she's posting pictures going to the airport for Disney World and stuff. So we're on the bus as we left to get off. I said hi and she goes, I knew it was you too. She goes, I said to my husband, I know him. He goes, well, why don't you just go say hi? She goes, because it might not be him. Like, and it's somebody like you met a couple times in your life, but
it's even
funny.
It's even weirder when you see somebody when you know it's them and it's someone that maybe you haven't talked to in several years.
Yep.
Like somebody you weren't super close with, but good and goddamn well it's them.
Yep.
And they see you and they know it's you, but nobody says anything.
Nobody says a thing.
That feels so awkward.
That's like the grocery store where you push by somebody real fast and keep going.
You don't even acknowledge them. It's like, bro, I remember I was at your house when we were like 13 years old, and we're not even acknowledging each other.
Hey, how you
now.
doing? Okay, see.
No, I'm talking like the situation where you don't even give them the hey.
Really? Yeah.
Like that's happened to me on a few occasions, and I feel guilty for that.
Yeah.
Like I should have said something.
No, you can't. They could have said something too.
Yeah, exactly. They didn't say nothing either, so I guess we're all right.
Yeah. Staying away from those conversations you don't want to talk about or have.
Yeah, man, that's something that's crazy. How much social media has changed, like our day-to-day interactions.
Oh yeah.
I wonder about where it's gonna go within the next like decade or two.
I mean, what else is there left to do? I mean, I feel like they've done everything.
Well, that's what I mean. Do you think it's going to like peak and people are going to get sick of it and really thirst for the genuine interaction again?
I mean, I'm assuming it kind of just like goes away. Like MySpace, everybody thought that was the biggest, baddest thing. And then Facebook came and then people were 50-50 and then MySpace kind of phased out. Mm-hmm. And then you had like Facebook and that was really it. Until Instagram, which slowly caught on, I think, and people like it. And you had Twitter, which, Twitter has its purposes, but I don't think Twitter's as big. You know what? I shouldn't say it's not as big as like Facebook. Like it might be, but I think people use it more or less to keep up with news and stuff like that, versus wanting to know what people are tweeting and saying. Like,
Twitter's a weird one. I find I don't know a lot of people personally that are on Twitter, and maybe it's a generational thing. But like none of my friends are on Twitter.
Yeah, like I just go into Twitter. Like I have it just so I could follow. I don't even know who I follow. I follow like people in the news and stuff like that. I follow, influencer people type and athletes and things like that. But I don't use it as a platform to respond and stuff. More just kind of, it's just like, to be honest with you, it's like a quick way to get your news for absolutely everything, to see what's going on. And like some of the content's good, some of it's not good, some of it's funny, some of it just makes you want to like run through a wall.
It's so hectic. I have a hard time keeping up because the feed's just so random and it's just so much. Like, you see everybody's like a repost or you see so and so like this. It's well, how did that end up in my feed?
Yeah, and everybody has their own thoughts about things and. Most of them suck because they're not the same way I think about things.
I like Instagram. Instagram's pretty. You get your picture, your caption. That's it. Yeah. Like that works for me. That seems to be the number one nowadays because Facebook got taken over by like our parents' generation.
Yeah, there's they're on there too.
They're all arguing with each other over what who killed Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah, I know. My mom posts some wild stuff on there sometimes too. Like, it's like, Ma, don't feed into this nonsense.
Well, it's weird. It was like our parents told us like, don't believe any of that shit that's on the internet. And now that they're on there, they believe everything they see.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. They don't realize what satire pages and things like that.
Yeah, like there's no internet literacy.
This is legit. Like, it's really not. Like, just don't do that.
Yeah. You see how when you scroll down to the bottom, it's nothing but ads for unrelated things? That's a dead giveaway that this is a spam page or like fake.
Yeah, that's changed too. Like, I remember, before I even had kids and stuff, like, the Facebook's kind of become a place too, like where family members and people can see your kids and keep up with you. So that's what it's always been for. I wasn't never one of those people that would like, people would post pictures of their kids and stuff and they would be like, oh God, I gotta go through all these pictures of their kids and stuff like that. It didn't affect me. It didn't bother me. There were some people that did it more than others, and sometimes you're like, okay, let me go, keep it going. But now, like, I'm thinking, like, am I like one of those people? Because I don't like what I do. I think 90% of the stuff I post on there, maybe more, is just pictures of my kids and stuff like that. And I don't know if I do it it's not a bragging thing. Everybody has kids, but like you share things like that, and it's for moments and things.
It's a
that
cute
happen
picture
in
of
your
my
life.
daughter. I
like
maybe
one day somebody goes back, my kids go back. Okay, maybe after I'm gone, if that's Facebook's still there, and see all these things from the years and different pictures of them and stuff like that. And I think that's a positive, I guess.
I used to post a lot of pictures and stuff, and now, with the podcast, I do the post for this, but I don't do a lot of personal stuff anymore. And to an extent, I'm happier not doing that.
Right.
I know my wife sometimes she's like, well, you used to post all this beautiful stuff, real nice captions and thoughtful things, and now you don't post anything, just the podcast stuff. And I think I do this because I'm trying to promote, the show, but at the same time, I don't feel like I need to share everything with everybody.
Right, or your opinions and stuff like that. It just leads to nonsense and fights,
Yeah, I'm definitely past the whole the arguments on Facebook. I did that for not even that long, and
it's fun to do sometimes anyway. To
sometimes
bait people a little bit, but
I don't know, man.
Most people can't take a joke or get too serious about it, and it's just not fun anymore.
Well, a lot of times too, you're arguing about politics and stuff like that, and to a lot of people, it's not something to joke about. So it's hard when some people are just trying to get a rise out of the other people and troll them, and other people are dead serious. Like this is life and death shit. You know what I mean? So it's just like a toxic way to communicate, man. And I can't do it.
Interesting place.
It's really interesting. I mean, I've learned a lot through it, but I don't know if I really want to do that anymore.
Right. It's not worth it. I mean, you get tired of doing all that stuff anyway.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the reasons why I started this, too. I wanted to do something that was positive.
Right.
And I don't want to just be some fucking Facebook warrior. Yeah. So, I mean, you could have real conversations with real people.
It's because you grow up. We're all growing up, man.
Yeah.
We're not 20-year-old punks anymore.
Well, it's sad to say. It wasn't that long ago, I mean, I think right around 2016 is when a lot of people kind of discovered, how much they actually cared about politics and stuff like that. And unfortunately, not everybody agreed. So
no.
It led to a lot of bad conversations. But this is one thing that I liked. I've been able to have a lot of people with different points of view, and it's more about the things that we have in common.
Right.
Because I've had people sitting across from me that, I mean, politically, religiously, we have nothing in common.
Right.
But we're talking about shared humanity, so the shit that we all do.
Right.
And we're having a good conversation, laughing, joking. It's fine.
Yep.
And that's what I like. I think that's the shit that's helpful, is when we remember the things that we share.
Right.
And nowadays I think
that's get through things.
Yeah, but that's what we need, because we're all focused on the divisions.
Yeah.
I want to focus on the things that are going to help one another. Like we're talking about community. We're parents, we're sharing our experiences with somebody who maybe feels like they're all alone. Yep. And they might listen to this and I'm not the only one going through that. To me, that was a big help when I first got married, is hearing podcasts about dads and husbands and stuff like that.
Right.
And that was hearing their experiences, I'm not the only one going through this. This is something normal. Okay, I can work through this. Those little things gave me, I guess, the support really to kind of push through certain things that were difficult.
Right.
And now you come out on the other side, it's I got this. And I would like to give that back to somebody, even if, I don't have a huge listener base, but I have some people that listen every week. I have the dedicated people
driving cars.
And all that kind of stuff. And to all the people that have reached out, to all you guys listening, I appreciate the feedback. But I just want to do something good.
Yeah.
This is fun. It's good for me.
It's fun, and it's good for you. It's good for your stress levels and everything else. So
yeah, and so far I haven't had anybody who seemed to have a bad time. So that's also good.
I'm having a great time.
Yeah. I've had a couple that almost went off the rails. We had a few too many beverages. The one we were talking about being in bands, I had Drew, my old guitar player Brian, and my old singer Tony.
Right.
So it was the four of us just sharing stories, being on the road, playing shows and stuff, and it was so much fun. We're drinking vodka, throwing them back.
Right.
And it was after, it was almost 2 hours, I think we did. And I was like, man, I could keep going, but it's I need to stop.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah. So I love those episodes. I love just, we talk about nerd shit, about movies and Marvel shit. And, one of the logos for the episode is Thor's axe.
Thor's axe. Stormbreaker,
baby.
Break it through.
They were very friendly to all nerds and fandoms, what have you. So since we're talking about social media, this will be the last question I'm gonna ask.
Okay.
So your oldest daughter is going to be 7.
Almost 7. Yep.
how are you going to approach social media with her?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, and it's funny because we kind of already have a little bit. All right, so like kids, I'm assuming your son is probably in the same boat. Like they love watching YouTube and watching these videos of kids opening toys and just talking and doing like stupid, like mind-numbing things, right? Like all over the place.
To us, it's the dumbest thing in the world.
100%. It's freaking terrible. So for like a year, she's been trying to get me to let her have her own YouTube channel.
Oh, dude, every kid, my son as well.
Right. And the kids are big. Cause like I teach in a middle school, and like all these kids have it. And there's like some kids that have like, you know, tens of thousands of followers. Like there's a kid in my school right now that like has some videos they made when he was like in 3rd or 4th grade that have like 10 million views. Like it's mind boggling to me. But you know, and these kids all like, and some of these people like online, and you know, these to do these videos, have these pages, have like such a huge following. Like my daughter, this is like, so she's wanted the page for a while, right? So I'm just like, no, not doing it. And she's been begging. She watches. I want to do this. I want to do that. I'm like, not going to happen. So like, I kind of caved like towards the end of the summer. Like, actually, I kind of caved in June. She didn't know that. I created a YouTube channel for her. You know, I created an email for her, so I control that. I only have control over. So I have full authority on the page. So I created it was there for her, but I needed to research and figure it out myself to understand, you know, what the settings were, you know, how do things work and stuff. But you can't like have a YouTube channel, YouTube Kids. You have to have a regular YouTube account, which I had to create for her. And then eventually, what I learned was, depending on the content, eventually it could find its way through all their filters and stuff to YouTube Kids. But you can't search for it there yet. So after doing all my research and stuff, I finally told her, okay, listen, I have your channel here. Let's come up with a name. The ground rules are going to be you create whatever content you want, you record it. You can upload it. We need to know when you upload it. I mean, I keep up with it, or just tell me so we can watch the video. And then you go ahead and put it forth. And those are kind of the rules. Like, you can never give your name. I mean, you can never give your last name, where you go to school, where you live, things like that. Never use anybody else's real name. So she seems to, like, understand that. She gets it. But then, like, again, like, she did this one freaking video. And she was like, it was like her nighttime routine or something like that. And, like, so she's, like, in her room, and she has, like, the thing on, and she's talking, and she's going to put these pajamas on, and she steps off to the side to put her pajamas on, and she's away from, you know, she's away from the camera, and then she kind of falls and comes over, and she has her shirt off, and she goes, oops, and then jumps back, and then gets changed. So I'm looking at it, and I'm like watching. I get to that point, I go, yeah, we can't post this.
Yeah.
She goes, why not? I go, because you were there with your shirt off. She goes, it was only for a second. I go, it doesn't matter. Like, you can't do that. You can't be there. And, like, you know, you're not going to explain to her why this and that, you know, pedophiles, things like that. I said, because YouTube doesn't allow that stuff, so they could take your account away if it went on. So we just get rid of it. So we kind of, you know, to me, that's kind of like the ground rules in starting to try to explain to her that the stuff that goes there that everybody sees, millions of people see, just like, you know, when you're watching these videos and these channels, you know, you see what these other people are putting out there. And, you know, it's just like a huge thing. Like, she loves it. Like, you know, she does. I put like a thing out on my Facebook asking everybody who had like a YouTube channel just to subscribe. And, you know, she goes, oh my God, I got like 60 something subscribers.
Wow.
She goes, that's awesome. I didn't think I'd have any. You know, she doesn't realize that I put that out there, and it's my friends and nobody's really watching her videos. You know, like,
does she want to do a TikTok?
No, she doesn't know. I don't think she knows anything about that.
My son started with the TikTok.
Okay.
So his friend is this girl.
Because I don't have it. And I don't think my wife does either. So
Yeah,
they've never even been able to play with it on the phone.
That's a young kid's thing. But the girl that lives across the street is the same age as my son, so they're super close friends. But she likes K-pop, like Korean pop music.
Okay.
Which I don't know how she got into, but now she's got my son into it. So they're watching all these videos on TikTok, all these people singing K-pop songs and stuff like that. So, oh, let's do a TikTok. I'm like, bro, like, number one, I'm not buying you a phone yet.
Right.
Like, you're going to destroy it. It's a bad investment on my end.
Uh-huh.
Number two, you want to start a YouTube channel? I'm like, I told him, when you're 10, you can start a YouTube channel.
Right.
I'm like, YouTube has a rule. You can't be younger than 10 unless your parent does it. And he's like, well, this kid, Ryan has it.
That's the problem, man.
Yeah. I'm like, well, you're not Ryan.
Yeah.
Okay. So he wants to always come on the podcast. I can't believe he didn't come down here today. This might be the first time in a long time he didn't try to come on. But yeah, man, I'm nervous. Because it's
I think you have to be, because we didn't have any training like when we were kids, because we didn't have social media. So like it's not like we can, reach back into experience and say, well, these times this and this happened and that happened and this is how you handle it, because we don't have experience in that stuff. It's one of those things with this generation that we don't have, our pause in terms of being able to reach back and say, tell them by example.
Yeah, we're learning as we go.
Right. Yep.
And when he tells his friends, "Oh, my dad has a podcast. My dad has a YouTube channel." So I had his one friend, like the kid's mom was going to start a YouTube channel for the son, like the same thing you're talking about doing right now.
Yep.
She, I was going to ask you. I was like, "Listen, lady, I don't have video up there. This is all audio stuff. Like, I don't know how to set up your camera. I don't know, I know how to upload like a video, but like I don't know what to tell you."
Yep.
So people are asking me, like, I don't know. Like,
it's crazy, the whole YouTube thing, because like I think like at a certain point with followers, like you can start getting paid money. Like these people, like, do you ever? You have a boy, you probably don't know. Like, do you ever hear JoJo Siwa?
Sounds familiar.
All right, she was okay. So I guess the backstory was like she was on the show Dance Moms.
Okay.
On
I've heard of it.
Lifetime or something like that. So, like, she has, like, these bows, these big bows. These kids wear colorful bows, like all her bows. But she really became, like, a YouTube personality and then started having these songs and, like, became, like, really big, right? So, we took our daughter she had a concert at Prudential Center in July. Bought tickets months in advance, okay? Like, if you watch, like, her YouTube channels and stuff, like, all she does is fucking scream. Like, and yell, like, this is JoJo, and
all
like,
these YouTubers do that.
And like went to the concert, and it was like she's talking and yelling into a microphone. I was like, whoever is like training her, working with her, needs to teach her like how to talk into the microphone, because it's piercing.
Yeah.
And she sold out Prudential Center.
Jesus Christ.
12,000 plus people showed up to see this concert. Who was like, she was on this Dance Mom show, and then she was basically just like a YouTuber kind of person. 12,000 people. She sold out shows across the freaking country.
Do you find that, like, because you just mentioned something that's a big thing in this house, is your kids are watching these YouTubers, and the YouTubers are screaming, yelling, and and do your daughters like yell a lot at the house? Do they talk like that?
Not so much, really. Like the little one hasn't really gotten into watching that stuff as much as the older one does. I don't think she really acts like that. Like we've had to monitor some of the content and things she watches, because she got really into at one point this Barbie cartoon show on there she was watching, and like it's just not appropriate, because she was giving huge attitude to things she was saying. Like she was like 6 years old, like, and she's being a complete bitch. Like no, you can't talk to us like that. You can't talk to people like that. And it seemed like when she was really watching that show, this side of her came out. So like she's not allowed to watch that show anymore. But I guess that was the same when we grew up too. But I still like, when you're watching these little kids open things, and the other people have their channel and they're running around their house, and clearly it's put together by their parents, because there's no 7, 8, 9-year-old kid that's that good at video editing to do all that stuff. It's done there for a reason, probably to make them some money somehow. But I don't know, man. It's tough. Like,
well, nowadays,
it just really is.
Well, think of what we just talked about. How many people have the same idea? Oh, my kid's going to have their own YouTube channel. So now they've completely flooded the market. So what chance do you think you have now?
Next, you better come up with something really special, really unique. Because even like at that concert, I remember her saying, "Well, one day after I get this is before we gave her the channel. One day after I get my YouTube channel and I become, big like her, I'm going to be performing in arenas and stuff like this." Like, okay, so lots of little kids think that same way. They don't understand that reality, but like they're looking at this and saying, okay, well, I got my YouTube channel. The next step is this. Oh, slow it down there a little bit.
Yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that come in between.
There's a lot of things that ain't going to happen. That's probably going to be one of them. So,
yeah. Hey, look, podcasts are the same way. How so many jerk-offs have podcasts nowadays. It's hard. It's hard to stand out. As soon as you think you have an original idea, you go look it up. It's like, 6 other people did the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of like the right person hearing it, the right person seeing it, things like that. It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Yeah, that's true. Listen, you just got to have good content. And that was the one that happens all the
Sorry
time.
about that.
At least it doesn't fall over. That's all that
Well, that's
matters. Yeah. All right, so let's put a pin in it right there.
All right.
Dude, thanks for coming by, man.
Oh, thanks for having me.
I appreciate it. It's a good conversation
It's
tonight.
fun, man. I like not having to do bedtime, so
Yeah.
that's another huge positive to this. So.
Yeah, this gets me out of bedtime, but the only problem is now he's going to be in my bed when I go upstairs.
I'm telling you, you just gotta pick him up, move him, give him a little melatonin. I'm telling you,
I'm going to have to melatonin.
it's like
I'm
you're
gonna- I'm
like
gonna
drugging
do
your
this.
kids. Like the little one turns into like a different person. It's like she's drunk.
You heard it here, folks, from Matt S. Drug your kids.
Melatonin.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening. Thanks to Matt for coming by. You guys know where to find us as always. APodAmongstMen@gmail.com for any questions, any suggestions, anything you have for us you want to hear on the show, send it to us. We'll get back to you ASAP. And you know where to find us on Instagram, @APodAmongstMen also. Download the show wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, iHeartRadio, Spotify, of course, YouTube. Pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts, you'll find us there. But aside from that, we look forward to hearing from you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace.